Hey, this is Mike McAdam from Gen X Guitar. Today we're going to talk about playing scales on one string. So one of the great things about the guitar is when we first start playing, we learn the pentatonic scale here. And then we get into the club for cheap entry, but then sometimes we can't get out of the club, so to speak. So I had a beginner student recently, and we put on a certain song by a band called Eagles that love to block their stuff on YouTube, so I won't even play any of it. But we took a certain song by them, and I said, here, just play the scale over it. And every note sounded great, and immediately this guy was soloing and making music, and it sounded really good. But how do we break out of that? So here's one thing that I suggest, learning how to play scales on one string. So what I'm going to do with this is we're going to start off in the key of E minor, because why would I play any other key? It's almost the only one I know. And I'm going to play this on the second string. So if I look at the E minor pentatonic scale on the second string, it is going to lay out like this. The B note on the second string open, D on the third fret, E on the fifth fret, G on the eighth fret, A on the 10th fret, and then B on the 12th fret. So just for this example, we're just going to play one octave to make it easier. So one of the things I'm going to do, I'm going to use my TC Electronics Ditto looper to give us some background music here. So the advantage of doing that type of playing, you can make an argument, well, yeah, you're still in a pattern, but playing it across the string is going to change your relationship to the notes, and it's also going to change the phrasing. You're going to find it's going to make you play a little bit differently than you would if you were just playing in the closed position box. So let me do another example of this, because what you don't want to do is just play it on the same string all the time. As you play this on different strings in the guitar, that's going to change how you phrase. So let me play this on the fifth string. So if I play the E minor pentatonic scale on the fifth string, it's going to be this. The A string open, B on the second fret, D on the fifth fret, E on the seventh fret, G on the 10th fret, and then A on the 12th fret. So I'm going to start my loop again, and I will play a little bit just on those notes. So doing these one-string type scale licks became very popular, I would say, like late 60s, early 70s, where you had things like Purple Haze or Over, Under, Sideways, Down, where you were kind of playing these type of licks where you were sliding across the string to create a sitar type effect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the E Dorian mode. So it's just going to be the same thing we played on the second string, but I'm going to add a couple of notes. So it's going to be this. B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start that loop again, and I will play one of those licks kind of from that era. And you'll get an idea of how it's easy to do that sort of thing by playing the scale on one string. So as you can see there, I'm trying to keep these examples easy so there aren't a ton of performance techniques, bending, vibrato, super fast notes, things like that, because I want to try to make it accessible enough to where you can see where this is coming from. So obviously you can take this, make it more complicated, add bending, add vibrato, add faster passages, things like that. So in closing, what I suggest you do is basically grab a string, grab different keys, grab different modes, and just try playing these ideas and seeing where those notes stick out and how they work together and how they feel different when you're playing them on one string as opposed to in a closed position scale. So I want to talk a little bit about the gear I'm using today. I am using this Keeley compressor, which is new for me. Kyle here at North Main Music recommended it to me, and so far it's been very cool. And I'm using the TC Electronics Ditto for the little backing track that I'm using. If you don't have one of these, it's fantastic. It's a great way to have some kind of pulse when you practice these examples. Highly recommended. So my amplifier, I'm using this 1971 Princeton Silverface Fender. Used this in a bunch of videos. This is a great amp. It records really well. It's very easy to get a good sound out of it. And for my guitar, I'm using this 1970-71 Gibson ES335. Check out our video for more information on this guitar. So anyway, that's just one idea to get you out of the pentatonic box. If you have this problem or if you have other suggestions for what's worked for you, comment below. We can all talk about it in the comments section. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. It allows me to keep getting my hair done nicely and making these kind of videos. In the meantime, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching Gen X Guitar.